deep dive where emotions meet the stars and spirituality takes center stage. Join Sherianna Boyle and Carmen Schott as they explore astrology, mental health, manifesting, and so much more. Two women on a spiritual path, sharing wisdom, stories, and the magic of sisterhood. Ready to dive deep? Let's begin.
Welcome to Deep Dive. I'm Sherianna.
And I'm Carmen Schott, and this is a show about astrology, emotions, and spirituality.
Each week, we take a deep dive into what is happening astrologically, how it can impact your emotions, relationship, health, and so much more. And in the second half of the show, we'll be offering you some tips for how to navigate this week's energy. And we are talking about the week of June 8th, 2025. So what's happening, Carmen?
Wow, I still can't believe we're in June.
I know, I'm still adjusting.
I'm still recovering from March, honestly. I'm still wow, March was just a couple months ago. Wow.
I know.
So it's crazy. Well, today, June 8, actually, Mercury, the planet of communication, enters Cancer. And so what that means is that how we think, how we communicate is shifting, okay? Because Mercury in Cancer means that we may be a little bit more introverted, focused on home and family issues. Okay, so that's a big one because the Mercury was in Gemini, and that made us, and we talked about that before, it made us restless and overthinking and wanting to get a lot done, wanting to multitask, maybe even having a hard time relaxing or sleeping because Mercury is in its ruler. Gemini it's just lots of energy, high energy. So now it really shifts to this calm, watery kind of vibe. So we feel mentally and emotionally different because it's like a slower pace. Like we were used to this go, go, go mentally and had a lot of ideas and kind of getting things done. And now we may be wanting to withdraw and not talk as much because that's a big shift from Gemini to Cancer, because Cancers are more quiet, introverted, calm. They want peace. They want to be at home. They want to, they're the caretaker, the mother, the nurturer. So it might be a time just to spend time with one or two friends or family and talking with them in small groups. You're not going to be wanting to be as social as we have been. So that's going to be a big shift we're going to feel this week.
And that's going to come about again when, Carmen?
June 8th.
June 8th, we'll start to feel that way.
Yeah. I can, it's interesting.
Are you already feeling it?
Yeah. It's it's just, you'll feel it. It's going to be, and it's okay. I was told, don't feel bad to be lazy, feel like you're lazy, or don't feel guilty for not having to do stuff all the time. You know what I mean? It's okay. You don't have to, it's a weird feeling because you're so used to doing.
Yes.
When Mercury and do, go, go, go. And when it shifts to water like that, it's like, wait a minute, I don't want to do anything. I don't really want to talk on the phone. I don't want to socialize, because Cancers like to withdraw into their home and be at home and be alone and have solitude and alone time. So we're going to not be as social guys and wanting to hang out with all our friends like we have been. And I know I've been talking on the phone all the time for hours when Mercury was in Gemini. And even with people I usually don't talk on the phone with, they were calling me and stuff and texting me. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm active. I have 3 texts going. Now it's it ends. It's like a shift and everybody's feeling it. So it's where do they go? Everybody kind of disappears. It's because they're going into their inner world. They're introverted.
I've had more people say to me lately, several people say, people that I know well, people that I don't know so well, I'm not sure why they're sharing this, but say that they feel so alone, like they've lost friends or that they're not really sure who their tribe is anymore. Does that have anything to do with what's happening astrologically?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I feel like I was just talking about this with someone for my old job. I feel like it has to do with COVID. It's kind of it's like we're still, it just hit me the other day. The whole world went through a huge trauma. Mm-hmm. When I was talking to my mom about this, trauma affects everyone in a different way. and people don't see that COVID was traumatic, but it absolutely was when you look back. But we all just kept going.
Changed everything.
Changed everything to survive. We started, I remember at work, we had to do everything virtual, had to figure out how people could do reports that are, 24/7 hotlines and all. I mean, and we just made it happen, how to train people. Then it got to where I think people were used to not being able to travel, and they didn't want to because, well, they wanted to, but they couldn't. And then they were afraid to because they didn't want to get sick. And so we went through this. And then when, COVID kind of ended, it's like people started getting out there, flying, doing things more. And all these air traffic incidents that have been going on with planes and, crashes, and people are telling me they're afraid to fly. They're afraid to go anywhere. And so people are still.
I feel like it's from the trauma, from all the fear.
I think it is.
The fear and the loss.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me because I taught yoga this morning, and the yoga that I teach is we focus on a different chakra every time. And the chakra, I always do it based on my intuition. I ask spirit on the way. I say, okay, what do we focus on, spirit? Second chakra, which is the water element. And it was, really what was coming through today was that feeling of feeling out of control. And that felt, that's kind of what people felt a lot in COVID. There was a lot of this feels out of my control kind of thing, and a feeling like, helplessness or those kinds of emotions now, I think, maybe perhaps for some people are coming up to be healed and rebalanced.
Yeah, I think it's like a Mercury in Cancer can really do that too. It can make us reflect on our childhood, old past hurts and traumas, and it's like focusing on our emotional wounds. Cancer is connected to the past. They're connected to their childhood home, their first love. They're very nostalgic. So we might be feeling a little bit more nostalgic and thinking about past things with Mercury in Cancer, and it's emotional. It's emotional things. And so it can, kind of help us heal a little bit. And, one of the other good things going on right now is, we're still in Gemini season. So the sun is still in Gemini, giving us that boost to help us kind of snap out of maybe some depression or some sadness, which the sign Cancer is known to be emotional and go through highs and lows of mood because they're ruled by the moon. So their mood is always kind of fluctuating. That's the life of a Cancer. And they're very intuitive, very empathic. And so, all those things are really affecting all of us now with Mercury in Cancer. But we still have Gemini to tap into, guys. And until the end of the month, and then we're going to be in Cancer season. So we're going to have a lot of Cancer.
And we'll be giving you an update then. Yeah. Interesting. So again, this is happening on the 8th.
Yes.
Where this shift starts to take place. And what it sounds like so far, what you're telling us is that moving inward, but taking advantage, also tapping into the Gemini energy is available to you if you need it. And that's where, something like going to a yoga class can help, especially if it's, help, mindful. Like one of the students this morning said to me, I wasn't going to come this morning. I'm so glad I did. It's exactly what I needed. And I think, how often does that happen in life where you're like, you could talk yourself out and you're like, I don't want to go. And then you go and you're like, okay, now I know why I went there. And maybe it wasn't just about the moves. You had some energy that you needed to move.
Absolutely. Sometimes we kind of resist things or get, stuck in a rut, and then we're like, oh, I'm glad, you feel better after you kind of push yourself to stay on your routine or work out or exercise, eating right, whatever it is, you feel better. Sometimes
you have those outlets, right, Carmen? You've got to have those outlets. So I'm interested to know, I know there's a full moon happening this week. Yeah. Correct.
Right before the full moon, we have one other major planet changing, though. We got Jupiter on June 9, so the day after Mercury goes into Cancer. Jupiter, the planet of good luck, good fortune, and abundance, and also like expansion, it goes into Cancer. And the reason Jupiter is pretty important, it stays in each sign for 1 year. So it's been in Gemini for the past year. And so I've been liking that because it's been in my career house. And it's been in Gemini, which has been helping me with writing and publishing and different things, radio. And I'm like, ooh, I like this, and job opportunities. But now it goes into Cancer. It's going to be in there for a year. So we have this Cancer energy going on, guys. We got Mercury in Cancer. We got Jupiter in Cancer now. And so Jupiter in Cancer means that there's going to be a lot of focus on the home and family.
Okay.
On your parents, your mom and dad, your childhood home, maybe even your siblings, your spouse, your kids, or the home you're in. Could also have to do with good things coming. You might decide to move or sell your house, and you get a financial windfall from that. Jupiter is, money, finance, good luck, good fortune with a lot of things. So it's luck. It's the planet of luck.
Okay.
And it's in the sign Cancer that rules home and family. So I think that we're going to see some benefits coming through the home and family issues. But another thing about Jupiter, and I always thought Jupiter is the perfect planet in astrology. I always thought it's all positive, like it's all good luck. But it also, think about this, it expands everything. So when I had Jupiter go through my 8th house, it brought up a bunch of stuff that I needed to hear.
Okay. It's like the law of attraction.
Yeah, it opens up.
I always think of the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And one of my books, Energy in Action, is the law of expansion. I mean, that's what you're looking to do, is you're looking to expand, right? And when you say attract, it's going to expand whatever area of life that it's transiting, and it's going to expand any Cancer issues. So guess what that means? If you have any issues with your mother or the mother nurturing side of life, nurturing yourself, nurturing others, or maybe you and your mother, relationship needs healed, or your caregiver, or your own relationship with your children, if you're a mother. These are the things I predict will kind of be coming up for a lot of people. And it's going to last for a year. It's going to be a whole year. So, okay.
Yeah. We'll be feeling it for the first time on June 9. Yeah.
So stuff's going to come up with the mother, which reminds me so much of that second chakra that I was cueing into this morning with that, that area, that nurturing, reproductive area, fertility.
Yes, definitely.
Feminine, a lot of that.
Feminine energy. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, before we talk about that full moon, why don't we take a quick break, Carmen? So those of you just joining, thank you for joining Deep Dive with Carmen and I. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Talk about that full moon. Hang in.
Astrology is energy. Unlock the wisdom of your birth chart with my new book, Your Astrological Energy. Pre-order your copy today and receive 10% off a personal consultation with me. Visit CarmenTurnerSchott.com to claim your special offer today.
When was the last time you took time for you? Hi, I'm Sherianna Boyle, author of the Emotional Detox book series and several other books. I also lead a variety of wellness retreats throughout the year. Visit SheriannaBoyle.com/events to find out more and to book your retreat today. Again, it's SheriannaBoyle.com/events. Welcome back to Deep Dive with Carmen and Sherianna. By the way, if you ever miss us live on the radio, not to worry. We have a YouTube channel where all of the replays are put. It's called Deep Dive with Carmen and Sherianna. Make sure you subscribe there so you never miss a show. All right. So we were just talking about Jupiter. Now we're at
the biggest thing this week. The only other real big thing is the full moon.
Okay.
So, every month we have a full moon. It happens on June 11. And it's going to be interesting because the full moon this month is in Sagittarius, which is the opposite sign of Gemini. So because they're opposite, so the sun will be in Gemini and the moon will be in Sag, opposing each other in the sky on June 11. And what that does, it's going to really bring up a lot of stuff that has to do with our beliefs, because Sagittarius is all about travel and freedom and adventure and exploration and learning and knowledge and higher knowledge. And they also are known to have very strong belief systems. And they can be very, spiritual, religious, have, beliefs about politics, all those things, because they rule the ninth house of long distance travel and higher learning. So when the full moon is in Sag, all those kind of issues are going to come up. And we may even start wanting to, plan a trip or, go overseas, or we may just see, think of a full moon. All the tides of the ocean start getting really wild during a full moon, right? Because the full moon affects the tides. It affects our emotions. And so we may even see on the news things playing out where there's people, protesting. I mean, it's already happening, but, people speaking up about what they believe in, which.
So the full moon brings that out.
It could bring it out more this month specifically because it's in Sagittarius.
Okay, because it's centered around what you believe, which is your passion. What you're passionate about.
I think it's going to be with like foreign issues too, like.
You making a prediction, Carmen?
Yeah,
I can hear it.
It's something to do with that. I think it's just going to be an intensified emotional time for people. Yeah. And if people are really upset about certain, international policies or events or beliefs or whatever's going on, or they believe is going on, they believe that even though it may not be true, they could get emotional and be, stand up, or something could happen. They could go out and protest or whatever. Not saying it'll be violent, but
but sometimes. Things get unsafe, let's face it.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can do it in a way that's civil and respectful, but very often you see it lead to some hostility and things like that. I try to stay away from those things, honestly, because I can't be around that intense energy. I'm too sensitive.
And then
it's the delivery that means more to me. I can respect whatever anyone believes, but if it's delivered in a certain way, it can be a little bit intense. Okay, so that full moon is happening on June 11th.
Yes, and the full moon is a time to release things and to feel your emotions and to experience them. So, and you may also feel like getting out and traveling or going on, just going to visit someone or driving around your car, just being more active. Sag likes to keep moving. They don't like to be cooped up indoors and outside, and they want to be outside. They don't want to be cooped up. And they like to. So just be careful out there driving and stuff like that, because it's in Sag, everybody might want to be out. And
interesting.
Yeah, and full moon is the busiest time of the month for police and ER docs and everybody, because of accidents, and people rush and or get a little impulsive. And Sag is fire. Sagittarius are a fire sign, so they can be blunt. They can be blunt. Yeah, they're fire, blunt and very assertive. That's the thing I like. I have a lot of Sag friends, especially at my job, and I'm like, you're all Sagittarius? Like all the ladies I get along with are Sag. And what I like about them is that they can be very direct and tell you the truth in a very kind way. So they can be, strong and assertive, but they're kind, and they're jovial, and they're optimistic people. They're positive people. So that's the kind of energy. I think it's an easier full moon because it's in Sag.
Well, it lands lighter. You can still say what you have to say and put boundaries up or set your limits. But if it lands lightly or with kind of a almost like a humorous approach, which is, it can be more, then you don't take it so hard, when it's all about delivery. And if anyone's looking to travel, I do have a retreat in Italy coming up in May 2026, but the time to register for that is now, because it will sell out. And go to sheriannaboyle.com. We'll do chakra yoga every day on that trip. So just thought I'd let people know if they're eager to itching to do something, Carmen. Anything else happening this week? We got the full moon on Wednesday.
Yeah, the full moon on Wednesday is the biggest one. Yeah, Jupiter in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer this week, all within days, and then the full moon in Sag, and then we're still in Gemini season. So I would say harness Gemini energy, and the ways to harness that is to communicate, write, socialize, get out of the house, get moving. Those are ways to harness Gemini energy. So it's a good time to tap into it because when the sun goes into Cancer, we'll be feeling a lot different. We won't have that drive to be on the go physically as much. So get as much done you can now and travel, do what you need to do. So when we get into Cancer season, we're going to all want to kind of be home more and rest
so don't make too many plans when it comes to Cancer season.
Yeah.
In terms of tips for this week, I'm going to focus on the second chakra.
Okay.
And that is 2 inches below your navel, everybody. That's an area where energy pools. And the message that came through this morning with Spirit was, really watch language where I have so much to do. I have so much to, or I'm not doing enough. And I think you're kind of speaking to this energy today. Maybe that's Gemini stuff. What do you think that influence that second chakra, which is, that's the chakra that helps us with financial stability.
Okay.
Beginnings, relationships. I'm hearing a little bit of all of this kind of energy with Mercury.
Is it about making being decisive and making decisions?
It is. It's definitely a healing chakra for sure. It's a creative chakra.
Yeah, that fits because Geminis are very creative and lots of ideas and talents.
Yes. And emotional.
Yeah, that's the thing. Geminis aren't the best at feeling their emotions because they intellectualize everything. Because they're an air sign. So air is mental, and they're ruled by Mercury, which is mental, intellectual. Overthinking, obsession, overanalyzing things, getting so
which I imagine could cause them to suppress
their emotions.
Because if you're overthinking, then you're suppressing at the same time.
Yeah.
And things get built up.
Yeah. They don't always feel their emotions. They think about their emotions. They'll say, I think I love them. I think that I'm upset. And then they'll want to talk to someone about it. Like, what do you think I should do? Like they want other people's advice, and they're not always like going within. What do I feel? They're not good at that. They're external people. They're outgoing, extroverted.
Interesting.
So that makes sense because they're not always the best at recognizing their own emotions or what they feel.
Well, also you mentioned the mother thing that we're all need to tune into. So any areas where you might feel are unresolved. And I find sometimes those things just pop up. I know it's hard to think of it in the moment. The moment you're like, no, I don't have anything, but watch what pops up out of nowhere. You're not thinking about it. It just kind of pops up. Maybe a little old resentment or something like that.
Well, it kind of happened to me today. Because it's Gemini season. I ended up talking to my mother, and I brought up some stuff, and she actually listened, and it was just some advice, because I told her, everyone experiences trauma in a different way, and the word trauma can have very different ways that it affects us. Yes. She does. That's not trauma. That's not trauma. It is. Even it was for you,
I'm laughing because you're actually a licensed social worker and your mother's. That's not trauma.
And I'm like, but I'm like, look at what you've been through. Like, you have to acknowledge that this was a traumatic thing. And then you have to realize and you have to heal it. You have to let it go. You have to recognize that you went through trauma or something that was traumatic. It doesn't mean, some people think of trauma as like you had to be in a major car accident, almost die. No, traumas can be small things. They can be betrayal. They can be, it could be all kinds of things.
And that's all second chakra stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you all go. The deeper wounds and the deeper healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. So we have about 1 more minute left. Any final thoughts on the week? Sounds like it's a week. We're going into some healing.
Yeah, this is a good week to talk, to acknowledge your feelings and maybe talk about what you're feeling. Because now Mercury's in Cancer with the Gemini sun, you're going to be able to still communicate. But I would, be able to share with your family and friends any issues you need to hash out or talk about is a good time.
Yeah.
And you're going to be more connected to your emotions and thinking more about
right. And what you're feeling. Don't always talk about what you're worried about. I think that sometimes happens in families. We just share what our worries are, but that's not necessarily your feelings. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Deep Dive with Sherianna Carmen. Don't forget, you can find all our replays at Deep Dive with Carmen and Sherianna on YouTube. Until next time, we'll catch up next week and we'll give you your update for that week. Take care, everyone.
Hi, this is Carmen Turner Schott, author and psychological astrologer. My newest books are Your Astrological Energy and Astrology's Magical Nodes of the Moon. Both offer powerful insights to help you understand your emotions and your spiritual journey through astrology. Discover how your birth chart can help you heal, transform, and become more resilient. Visit my website today at carmenturnershott.com and grab your copies on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and online stores.
Looking to transform your life? Sherianna Boyle, author of 11 powerful books, invites you to take a deep dive. Explore her emotional detox series, discover manifesting with energy in action, and connect with spirit in her latest book, Just Ask Spirit. Start your journey today. Find all her books at sheriannaboyle.com. Thank you for tuning into Deep Dive with Sherianna Boyle and Carmen Turner Schott. If today's episode inspired you, don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave us a review. For more insights and resources, visit carmenturnershott.com and sheriannaboyle.com. Until next time, keep diving deep into your soul's journey.